The next chapter is about to begin. Join us live every Tuesday and Thursday for brand new episodes of the American Contractor Show. Our mission is to bring you the latest tools, innovations, and knowledge to help you become the most informed contractor in your market. Knowledge is the ultimate power, and we are connecting you with the most knowledgeable minds in our industry. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. American Contractors, I hope you're ready. This one's for you.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
And good afternoon, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kay, and it's time for our daily hail forecast. First, though, let's thank our sponsors. We have the C3 Group, as well as Merlin Law Group and Balance Claims. Thanks, you guys, as always, for sponsoring these videos. So let's jump into today's weather headlines. We do have a small chance that we can see some hail from the, or just hail as well as some wind from the Great Lakes down to the Florida Panhandle. We'll get into detail about that in just a second. And then as we get into tomorrow, Dallas, could you see a storm tomorrow? We will check up on that. And then we will talk about the rest of the week for the chances of severe weather. So let's take a look at yesterday's storm reports. We had hail and wind reports from Wisconsin down south into Missouri, Arkansas, all the way down to Louisiana. We also had a few tornadoes in the south. So zooming into the regions from north to south, Chicago, you did not get anything yesterday. It stayed to your north. In southeastern Wisconsin, some wind reports in parts of Missouri and Illinois, and moving down to the south, you can see those few tornado reports that occurred in northern Louisiana, and some scattered reports of hail and wind occurred as well in Louisiana, far eastern Texas, and far western Mississippi. Yes, I know my state. So taking a look at the nationwide temperatures, you can see that we have some warmer temperatures in the southern part of the country. You can kind of pick out where the low is. It's really cool on the western side of the low, only 58 in Minneapolis and 53 in St. Louis. Warmer, though, ahead of the low and ahead of the cold front. We have some 60s and 70s along the northern Great Lakes, 73 in Atlanta. And taking a look at the dew points, pretty dry across most of the U.S. except for along and ahead of the cold front. We have a 58-degree dew point in Atlanta and 53 in Chicago. You can see that behind the cold front, it is a lot drier with a 42-degree dew point in St. Louis. Currently, again, the same low pressure system that we've been dealing with the last few days, slowly making its way on to the east-northeast. It's another messy day in Minneapolis, showers in St. Louis as well, and along that cold front we have some showers and a thunderstorm or two. Nothing severe, though, at this very moment. So taking a look at a few different areas with the radar and satellite. This is the northern part here. We could see some severe weather ahead of this cold front later on this afternoon. Detroit, you could see something. Down south, Cincinnati, you're getting rained on right now. Moving on to the southern part of the risk area, just some cloud cover in Atlanta. There are some breaks in the clouds, though. eastern Tennessee, you're seeing some shower activity and even some showers and a thunderstorm or two in the panhandle of Florida. So this is today's setup. We do have that same low pressure system with a cold front slowly making its way on to the east. We could see severe weather. Not a large chance, just a marginal chance this system is really starting to break down and losing its intensity from the Great Lakes down to Cincinnati all the way down into areas such as Birmingham and Jackson, Mississippi. This is for this afternoon. Moving on into the evening, the system will continue to move on to the east, as will the chances for severe weather. And then as we get into the overnight hours, really starting to fizzle out here. And as we get into overnight into the near daybreak, we may have to keep an eye on the areas south of the front here, southern Alabama, South Mississippi, and southern Louisiana for some refiring of those storms. So we'll keep an eye on this for you. And as we get into, come on machine, there we go. This is the future radar for this afternoon. This is at 1 p.m. So within the next hour, those showers will continue to move on to the east-northeast. We could start to see some thunderstorm activity develop as we get to 3:30. More thunderstorms are expected to develop from Cincinnati southward into eastern Kentucky. And it could see some thunderstorms to the east of Chicago as well associated with that low. We get into around 7 p.m. Showers and storms will move on to the east. I really think by this time the severe weather will start to diminish quite a bit. It should be below severe with limited showers and thunderstorm activity by 11 p.m. Pittsburgh, this is the time when you could get in on this rain. And then getting into 1:30 to 2 a.m., not a whole lot to talk about in terms of severe weather. It should just be a nice soaking rain for areas such as Pennsylvania down south to Washington, D.C., and that will continue to move on and fizzle as we get into the near daybreak. Now, in the southern part of the risk, this is again at 1 p.m., some thunderstorm activity is expected to form along and ahead of that cold front, getting into the next few hours at 3:30. Areas along or north of Atlanta, eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, you could see a few severe storms and nothing. It should be pretty isolated. Getting into the evening hours, it'll start to fizzle out a bit. And then you can see if we go all the way into Texas, we could see a few storms develop there. And getting into the overnight hours, we have to watch, again, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama for some refiring of storms along that front. So here's today's forecast. Nothing extremely exciting. It's going to be a very marginal risk, up to $0.5 size hail from Louisville, Kentucky, down to maybe as far east as Atlanta, down to Birmingham, Alabama. And the wind chances, about 60 miles per hour from the Great Lakes region down south to those same regions, Atlanta down to Birmingham, along that cold front. So keep an eye to the skies today, you guys, if you're in any of these regions. So let's take a look at what's going to be going on for tomorrow. We do have that chance for severe weather across the southern part of the U.S. We will have some thunderstorm development, southern part of Georgia into Alabama, panhandle of Florida, and as well as southern Arkansas. But then as we get into later on this or tomorrow afternoon, things may start ramping up, you guys. We really have to keep an eye on Arkansas as well as parts of Oklahoma, maybe as far as Oklahoma City. We are really watching, though, eastern Texas. So thunderstorm development will begin around 3 or so, and then hopefully stay isolated before it turns into a line later on into the evening hours, and then move its way on to the east. This is 2:30 a.m. What is that? Well, Friday into Saturday. Yes, I know what day it is. So Memphis, severe weather will be possible for you, mostly in the way of wind. And getting into early Saturday morning, that will continue to move on to the east-southeast. So we're going to zoom in yes, to Oklahoma City and Dallas. This is 12 p.m. tomorrow. Storms will develop in east or south Arkansas, and then as we get to dinner time, we have to watch the warm front for severe weather to develop. It may just miss Oklahoma City, but we're going to be watching that very carefully. And then as we get to 7:30, more rigorous development is expected, and we really got to keep an eye on Dallas as we get into the later evening hours. And then as we get into 11 p.m. close to midnight, that is expected to form into more of a launch. So Little Rock, you could see some severe winds tomorrow. If it stays more isolated and doesn't turn into a line, you can see some hail, so we got to keep an eye on you guys. And then as we get later on into the overnight hours again, Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi, northeastern Louisiana, I think it'll become more of a wind threat, but hail is not out of the question. So it's going to be a pretty busy day, potentially tomorrow, a pretty large area we'll be watching. I think the best chances for hail is going to be southern Oklahoma down into eastern Texas. That does include Dallas. We really got to keep an eye on you guys tomorrow. And then some smaller chances for hail, as I do think it's going to become more of a wind threat as it moves east, Little Rock down to Houston, down to New Orleans, eastward. So the chances are not zero for hail, but they're definitely going to become a lot less as that activity moves on to the east tomorrow evening into the overnight hours and into Saturday morning. So this is the wind for tomorrow into the overnight hours into Saturday morning. I think the largest or best chance to see severe winds will be from Shreveport to Jackson, Mississippi to Little Rock. Again, I think by the time that those storms reaches this area, it's going to become more of a wind threat, hence why we have those higher risks here. So it's going to be potentially going to be a busy day tomorrow, guys. It's going to be probably a long night. So after tomorrow, this is tomorrow afternoon. This is the jet stream. Basically, this system that we're dealing with right now is going to continue to move on to the east, and then we're going to start to see a little bit more of a dip here. So that's what's going to be pumping up that severe weather. Again, moving on into Saturday, the severe weather will move on to the southeastern part of the U.S. and then getting into the rest of the weekend, move to the far coast. It may be off of the coast by Sunday morning, but we have to see how fast that system runs. And then we could see another system after that. So it's going to be a busy few days. And lastly, let's take a look at the dew points. Today does not look very impressive. That's why we don't have a very large chance to see any severe weather. But as we get into tomorrow morning, you know, that problem that we were kind of watching, you know, was that moisture return, since we're not really seeing a whole lot in terms of severe weather like yesterday and potentially even today. That moisture return may not be such a problem anymore. So as we get into tomorrow, you can see those dew points are going to be a lot higher, a lot stickier out there, providing that fuel for that severe weather, and that will be moving on to the east into Saturday. So like I said, it's going to be a busy few days here, potentially at the Hail Palace tomorrow into Saturday and Saturday evening as this system moves on to the east. And then as we get into Sunday, we could still, if the system hasn't moved off the coast yet, we could see severe weather along the far eastern coast as we still have some moisture there. And then that system will move off the coast, and then you can see potentially some moisture return already in southern Texas on Monday. So we will keep an eye on that. So lastly, let's take a look at Saturday and Sunday for the areas that we'll be watching. This is for Saturday from Kentucky down south to far eastern Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, panhandle of Florida. You could see severe weather on Saturday, and then on Sunday, if the system moves not as fast as anticipated or stays on track and doesn't speed up, we could see some severe weather from we got Virginia down into the Carolinas, southeastern Georgia, and then into Florida. So yeah, I think that is all that we have. If my system wants to be nice. Like I said, we're still, yes, that is all that I have for you today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, especially as we get into tomorrow, guys. It's spring. You know, Mother Nature's waking up. You do not want to miss anything, so make sure you follow us on all of these. And if you have any questions, concerns, or if you just want to say hi, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com, where we have more information about our products. We have some bios about all of us. So yeah, check us out. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday.